Good morning, everyone, and welcome. By the time that you're reading this or watching this, you may already know that we have somebody back. Let's bring it up. What is up, Piper? Welcome. Great to have you back. How is it going, my friend? How's vacations treating you?
Bro, vacation is fantastic. I'm on the boat right now. We're in port in Cologne, Germany, and we spent the whole morning hitting all the Christmas markets. And I had some time to get back here, pull up some charts, and get some news together, and figured we'd break into Monday, December 22nd in style. So I'm doing great, man. Missed everybody. Glad to see everybody still here hanging out, and I appreciate all the alumni in the chat. So.
That's fantastic, phenomenal. Just so you guys know, Piper is not able to see the live transmission as we go, so that's why you might be seeing maybe some back and forth threes. It's something that is very shady about the program that I'm using, but well, yeah, we have to work what we got until I get a Mac, right, Piper? All right. Other than that, guys, we have a lot of things to go
That's
over.
right.
I
That's right.
think
Yeah, I'm
you
actually
have
using my AirPods for my microphone. Got a double setup.
perfect. Seems we have a little bit of a delay. So that's why we might be talking over. So when you start talking, you see me talking, then just keep going, and then I'll just give the space to try to mitigate the delay that we have going on.
All right, let's get into it, OC. Let's do it.
All right, let's get it. Let me go over to your charts, and we're watching your charts.
Yeah, let's just give a little update on where we are with Bitcoin right now. First of all, we did get a nice little pump here. I'm looking at a 4 hour on Bitcoin right now. We did get a nice little move up off of the quantum reactor. It was in the red here. Was able to get back above it and give us a little pump action going on here. And as I posted in that video earlier in the on X and in the Discord, I saw a bear ice skating at the Christmas market. So the market should be clear to pump. The bear is occupied right now. So what are we doing? We're really just coming back up on this rising wedge here, guys. We've had it going on here, going back at the baseline of this being back on 21 November. We've had a nice topping on it here a couple of times back in early December, late November here. And what I'm watching right now is the way that it's moving up. This has been our resistance line, has been the bottom of this. Is this another OC retest like we saw here? Very possible, but I'm watching the markets today. The markets seem to be doing pretty decent. Taking a look here real fast, just at CNBC, you can see the Dow Jones is up about 0.25%, S&P's up almost a half. Nasdaq is doing a little bit of recovery, up 0.57%. So we are seeing a little bit of movement there, but small caps, risk asset almost up a full percent today, and the volatility is down. So it's very possible that we do get a break back above this wedge, but I would watch again the golden pocket around $94,000 being a key level of resistance there, just because it's been our resistance for quite a while since we lost it back here on 17 November. So overall, I think if we do get back above this, we're above the dynamic reactor now. That's that line there. We're above this quantum reactor. I do think there's a possibility we do make it up to 94,000. One thing I want to point out, though, the power bar, that's this blue banner up here, like this little blue dash bar up here. It is turning into this green level here. Last time we had that was here, and we kind of went sideways until we did a nice Bart Simpson there. So keep that in mind. Power bar is waning. We are getting a true 7 clipping here, and we are getting pretty high on the oscillator ribbon. Let's take a look and see real fast just how the money flow is doing here. Money flow is still coming up. Volume is coming up. So money flow on here is going to be right there is our money flow, and right there is our volume. They both look to be coming up, but we are getting a little bit overheated on the oscillator pro as of right now. So hitting that resistance level and then tying in the fact that we are a little overheated. Best case scenario would be that we break above this wedge line, the bottom support of the wedge, and then we hit this 0.66 and get a bounce inside of this golden pocket. If we can consolidate in this golden pocket, might be possible that we're going to try to go back up to our trend line, which would be around $97,000. Today, of course, is DCA day. Best days of the week: Tuesday, Friday, Saturday to DCA for the return. So I don't know that I would do it today. It looks like we do have a little pump rally going on with Bitcoin today, OC. What are you seeing, man?
Oh, absolutely. I do also see a little bit of that. Let me just bring up my Bitcoin chart really quickly here and also bring you up with me. And let me see if that is the one. All right. So, yeah, this works. So, I do see this little pump going to this trend line that we have going on in this area. And something that is very, very, very disappointing to me is not seeing right now a little bit of a higher Bitcoin. But today, I was expecting to have Bitcoin back at the top of the range, somewhere around 93, giving us a chance of taking or making that what is it, the Bitcoin Christmas rally, right? I mean, I think that's something that I've been trying to actually see or even forecast in there. And well, it's basically just not there. It's not having that impulsion or that impulse that I was expecting. So, well, long story short, I still think that we're gonna have a rally still. I mean, we still have a couple of days. We are at the top of the oscillator. That's something to be a little bit worried about. All right. What I would like to see here is just coming back down and then coming back up, something like it happened in here, right? Somewhere around those lines where we can see a constant reaction. And right now, my target, as I was expecting back in the day, or like the previous week, to be 103, 102, 100K. Well, then I'll be mitigating my target somewhere around 95, 97 ish as we keep pushing. But we'll see. I do believe that we at least going to be hitting the 93, 800, 94 ish zones. And well, if everything goes well, we might have a good Christmas, a very good Christmas. And that is also looking at our money flow that is turning green in here, and our volume matrix that is also turning green. So that's what I got. Let's get it. Do you have some news to go over? Would you want me to pitch it over to you, or would you want me to go over a couple of things that I have prepared? Muted, maybe?
Of course I was. I was OC in this stuff, man. Um,
Let's go.
yeah, I got some news for you, man. I got some news for you. I'm letting
Perfect.
into the cryptoverse. There we go. Let's get into some metrics here and talk about some metrics on into the cryptoverse right now. One thing that I want to point out is that we are getting a little bit of movement here on the crypto market cap. We're back above 3 trillion and sitting at 3.037 trillion dollars right now. Current trend
I
line on
see the
this is at
Bitcoin chart.
4.86 trillion. You you don't have this. I'm showing my into the cryptoverse here on the screen.
Oh, I do see your Bitcoin chart. Let me see if I can fix that. You're sharing only the tab, I believe so.
Okay, well we'll try it again, man.
Let's
There we
go.
go. How's that?
Waiting for it to come in here, and there it is, and show on stream. Perfect,
All
gotcha.
right. So yeah, so crypto market cap sitting at 3.037 trillion. I will point out though that even though we're back above $3 trillion, as we've talked about before, this trend line is continuing up and to the right, right? So it is we pull back away from this, even though we're back to that $3 trillion mark, we're still sitting 37.5% under valuation right now on Bitcoin. On the total crypto market cap, because that trend line is continuing in upward motion there. Looking at the current wristbands, we're sitting at 42%. Of course, we can sit in the green for quite a while. If we go back and look at previous cycles, how long did we sit in these bands? Man, back in 2021, coming off the top, we were in these bands all the way out until like let's see here. Where's that at? There we go. We were in this band all the way out until April when the top came in November. So we can sit in the 40 in the four range, the 40s, for quite a while, giving us those that level of the wristband. Right now, again, we're at 42, but don't be surprised if we stay there for a little while and even get a little bit of higher pump ups in those wristbands because we're doing little relief rallies. So I just wanted to point that out there. And then looking over at the current Bitcoin dominance right now, finagling my mouse here on a I haven't used my studio setup in a while, man. Current Bitcoin dominance right now with the stable coins, we're at 58.97%. Take away those stable coins, we're sitting at 65.45%. So we're seeing Bitcoin's dominance when you take them stable coins out, holding pretty heavy. A lot of people that are moving in and out of Bitcoin when they move out, not really buying up the alts too awful much. They are going to a lot of stable coins, it does appear. Looking here on X right now, fear and greed index, stock sitting at 51, back at neutral out of that fear level, while crypto sitting at 25 in fear, despite Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana all being on the upside today. Extreme fear on crypto today, according to the fear and greed tracker. Let's go down here and take a look at this. The Fed today, guys, injecting $6.8 billion via repo operations from December 22nd. Total liquidity will be added to up to $38 billion in the last 10 days as part of the year-end funding support. Now, keep in mind, these are repo operations, but they did say that they were going to be pumping that liquidity into the markets of $40 billion total over a 30-day period. I'm not sure if this is actually part of that bill purchase that they said they were going to do for injection for quantitative easing. But this is something to keep an eye on. Markets could take this as a sign of what may be coming in the next 30 days from the Fed. Tom Lee's funds, though, Tom Lee normally very bullish. Guys, on December 20th, this weekend, Tom Lee said he sees Bitcoin going back to $60,000 soon, which is right in the line of the golden pocket retracement. I can show that in a little while if you'd like. I think I may do that. Just bring it back over to my chart here in a bit. But $60,000 is right in the range of that 618 to that 0.66, the golden pocket retracement off of the all-time high, which we talked about. Mind you, typically does pull back to the 78.6%. But if he's talking about 60K, that would be right in line with the golden pocket retracement, showing a little bit less of a sell-off in the cycle because of institutional interest. So not something that is out of the possibilities, the realm of possibility. I am watching at 60K pretty hard too. I think it comes in like 59 range when I on my chart. But yeah, $60,000 according to Tom Lee coming soon. And that's what I got on X marks the spot. Looking at the crypto bubbles today, you can see quite a bit of red here on the hourly. Looking at the daily, though, it's a lot of green in here. There's a lot of green in this here. Bitcoin currently up right now about 2%. Ethereum's up 2.5%. BNB 2.1. Other big movers in here. Solana's up 2.9% at number 7 on here. We got Doge up 3.6. We got, hey, Cardano, 8A. Shout out to 8A's. Up almost 5% on the daily. One of the biggest movers here. Stellar Lumens. Shout out to BC Port Corp. Got Stellar Lumens coming up 5% today on the daily also. Litecoin is at 3.8%. And rounding out that top 20, it's going to be SWE up 3.2%. Avalanche right behind, sitting at number 21. Looking at the stock market here again, guys, we talked about the Dow Jones, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell 2K all sitting on the green upside today. Dow Jones up about 0.25% right now. S&P is about 0.37. NASDAQ about 0.41. We're seeing a little bit of a pullback here as the show is going on some of these TradFi markets. Of course, the Russell 2K still holding above 1%, and the VIX still holding low, looking pretty good there. Let's go take a look, though, at the gold, guys, because we got to talk about gold and silver today, man. Gold is at $4,458 even right now. It is crushing it, up 1.6% today. Silver is was at $69 earlier. It's at $68.87 right now, up 2.05%. Copper's down about 0.2%. Nothing major to write home there about. But don't forget to include platinum. We're going to talk about platinum today, OC, because do you want to be a gold gold album artist or do you want to be a platinum selling artist? There was a reason that that used to be a thing. And we got to talk about the possibilities that are coming with platinum. I dropped all this to you on Friday, but you didn't have a chance to get to it. So we got to wrap this on this today. Platinum up 4.5% today, sitting at $2,110. Palladium right on its heels, up 3.5% today, sitting at 1,850. And if my ex is watching me out there that sold all that took all of my bonus money 10 years ago when Palladium was about $180 and I wasn't able to buy any, I still hate you. Let's move on though. Looking at the economic calendar, it is sitting pretty good today, guys. We got Monday, December 22nd here. We did get some Chicago Fed national activity this morning, but nothing else really major today. It's for us to write home about. This week, though, we do have. Hey, get off my chart there. What are you doing? We do have some things today to look at tomorrow to look at. Durable goods orders are going to be coming in. Got about 0.5% previously. They are looking at a consensus that it will be down 1.5%. But then we turn around, we get a forecast that says, maybe only down about 0.9%. So does look like durable goods orders slowing down. Of course, 2-month-old data, but we're also going to get that GDP growth rate quarter over quarter for the second, and I think we're going to get it for the third quarter three, second establishment of the quarter three. Yep, there you go. So we are going to get that all coming in. Was it 3.8? Guys, this is saying the GDP may be down to 3.2. That's showing a contraction of the GDP and a contraction of the economy. Not good signs there. Durable goods orders, excluding defense, month over month, looking like it's negative also. So this data that we're getting tomorrow, if we get a pump today, I expect that we see a sell-off tomorrow on this GDP data coming in. What do we got for Wednesday? We're going to get initial jobless claims coming in for the week. That is expected to be either slightly down or slightly up. Flip a coin. Who knows there on the job numbers anymore? But we are seeing that coming in, and then continuing job claims, which is going to be how many people are staying on it. Look, it went from 189.7 million to looking at 190 million estimated. So people continuing to stay on unemployment. Job numbers not looking great right now, guys. And then Friday, we're end up the week. Nothing major there. We're nothing on Christmas, obviously. Thursday, and then we're going into the next week, end of the year. So anything is possible right now. But this week, it does look like we have some bad data coming in. Job cuts. You guys know we talked about the layoffs. 710,000 this year estimated for layoffs in the sector. Bald is beautiful. What's up? Alexandra G is in the house. Crypto Billy's in here. I'm gonna give a shout out to these guys in just a moment. Yeah, I see some people in. Looks like the Otter gang joined us too. Appreciate all of you guys. AI may have been responsible for 50,000 layoffs in 2025. But we talked about 710,000 layoffs this year. If that's the case, AI is not the culprit here. I'm going to have to say that the culprit here is jobs are being cut by corporations to keep their profit margins high because consumerism slowing down, and they want to keep that money flowing into the stock market. I think we have some shell games going on here where they go, hey, we got to have the profits up so that we can show it in the earnings report so that we can get people to put more money into the stock and keep these valuations going high. And in order to do that, they got to cut some overhead. Where do you cut overhead the quickest? You do it from jobs. And we've seen that with 710,000 estimated job layoffs this year in 2025, according to this tech article from CNBC. Only 50,000 of those tied to AI. So keep that in mind when you guys hear AI is taking all the jobs. No, a lot of it's just corporate greed at work. What are we looking at here on the Fed tool? And I want to show you guys. You guys see the Fed watch tool? They put a black background finally out here for us. I love them for that. Thank you very much. Even when you had it on dark screen, this was a white screen. So we now have no more flashbangs brought to you by the CME group, guys. Looking at January's rate cut, we're looking at an 80% chance right now of no rate cut in January, starting to come up slightly, 19.9. This is coming off of that data from last week that we got that said, hey, look, inflation not really that bad right now, guys. But the job numbers are. So maybe we need to cut rates more. Truth of the matter is, and OC went over this on Friday, the only data that we got for that inflation number that everyone was clapping and cheering about was fuel, oil, and automobiles, guys. There was no other data in there for that inflation number that they got last week. So yeah, of course it was decent. Oil's been dropping like crazy. By the way, economic red flag, and nobody really wants to buy automobiles at a 7% interest rate. So auto industry and oil being the only two things that's shown, not impressed. Got to do better than that. I'm not going to buy it. Inflation has not gone down as much as they said. And so now this number, I do expect this 19.9% will drop back down because the likelihoods of getting a rate cut strictly due to jobs. If inflation is still there, they're gonna step back on that. We'll go back to what we were looking at, which is one rate cut in 2026. Gold and silver, and I will just touch on this headline, but we'll hold off on this until OC takes over and talks a little bit about platinum because I know we've got some stuff on that. But gold and silver prices soaring to a new high as the yellow metal reemerges as a hedge. Now, OC, go back to the screen with the two of us and let's talk about back in the day when you were an artist in the industry, a music industry, and Billy knows this because he's a great musician. If you were selling records back in the day, did you want to be a gold selling artist or a platinum selling artist? OC.
Oh, absolutely. Platinum selling artists. That actually
Why
have to
is
do
that?
with the
Why
amount.
is that?
Yeah.
Gold's $4,400, platinum's $1,900. OC. Why would you want to be a platinum selling artist? It's obviously cheaper, right? It's lower.
Well, there was a time that it wasn't that the case, right? And that has to do with supply and demand and the industry and where is it used to, right? And then, well, gold had back its rally back again and started coming back up because of the industry. But there was a time where platinum was what, like twice, three times the
Almost
time?
twice the amount of gold, yes. And so platinum is getting the move right now, guys. And I'm not saying that this is going to happen. But if gold, I think hits $5,000, no problem. It's in its stride right now. I think gold easily hits $5,000. If platinum starts playing catch up like the percentages we saw today, I mean, the numbers that we just looked at here, platinum was up 4%, gold was up 1.5%. If platinum does this and we start to see platinum retake its place back, and by the way, keep in mind there is some other news out there which OC is going to go over here shortly about platinum. There's some things going on in the industrial industry that's putting platinum back on the thing, and it's also the metals market is starting to talk big about platinum. So if platinum does make a re-emergence into its proper place above gold, and gold's at 5,000, I think you can easily be looking at $6,000 to $7,000 platinum, and that would be undercutting where it has historically been at multiplied over versus gold. So, OC, what do you got for us on platinum, man?
Absolutely. So there's a situation in here. Let me bring up my charts really quickly, and then I talk about the supply and demand issue that we have right now on platinum. Which, by the way, this is not new, but it just have been triggered by the industry. Still like a work in progress, but let's go over that. Let's take a look at that really quickly. All right, so this is the platinum news. By the way, Piper was one giving me the heads up on this one. This was on Friday and Saturday, and he was saying, "Hey, have you seen platinum right now?" And I was, "Hey, wait a second, what is it going on, right?" And then I started looking back into the day in here, and we can still see that, of course, that we have on that a steady demand and supply. What happens, or what is it happening here? What does it doesn't move? Well, platinum is a very fantastic element that makes the chemical reactions happen faster, and then it doesn't require as much energy. That's why it's in your catalytic converter, right? In fact, one of the most used metals, or one of the most used scenarios in both in chemistry and in the creating of catalytic converters on the cars. Why? Because they promote the pollutions or the pollutants, the carbohydrates that are being, or the carbo, not hydrates, but yeah, they're also carbohydrates, right? That are produced in your car, they get converted to water and also get converted to a less pollutant things right there. So what's happening, right? So there is a steady flow.
Carbon
Also, I mean,
dioxide,
carbon dioxide.
CO2.
Thank you. Yes, CO2. And then we have a steady price, right? This is something that we need to talk about. And let me bring up, like, for example, farming, right? Or something core in the industry. And this is, I think, I will set a perfect example of this. You cannot, right? I mean, farmers and guys, I mean, my heart goes out to you guys in respect, because farmers, you guys sustain anywhere that we go. I mean, you guys produce the very food that we eat, right? You sustain population, and well, you get the worst prices at the sellout, right? Depending on the farming thing, but for most of the cases, that's what we see, and that it has to do for something, because the most important things need to be cheap, and that is for all of the population to get access to it, or at least most of the population or the sector that services it needs to get access to it. So it's a little bit of a paradox in here, because for one job you have the hardest working industry, right? But also it needs to be one of the cheapest industry regardless. So the same thing happens with platinum. Platinum is just used in the industry so heavily that it just need to be quote unquote cheaper, and it has a steady demand until or unless we have a new car manufacturing thing, right? So let me bring up a little bit of a white paper right here. Let me see if I got it right here. Okay, so Platinum Quarterly, it talks about a surge right here on Platinum 2025, and maybe and most likely prolong into 2026. Long story short, all right, Platinum has a real supply problem, specifically being already triggered right now in this quarter. Unlike gold, where supply is relatively steady, platinum has been a multi-year structural deficit, meaning that demand it's greater than whatever it's being supplied. So what's happening? Well, the prices of platinum right now, they have an unbalance. Also remember, as demands of cars, for example, or chemically industry, they go lower. That's where platinum stacks up onto hold throughout the big demands areas, right? Although supply investors get drawn down. WIPIX, what we're looking at here, Platinum Quarterly has been tracking a 2025 deficit, hundreds of thousands of ounces, which is not good, which is the kind of backdrop that can turn really into a squeeze when buyers showed up. So catching up and rotation to gold, this is another important thing what's going on in the economical part, which is not Bitcoin, come on, gold. It's been a non-stop rally. I mean, talking about that, going to the 4 hours just to zoom in, I actually was expecting a little bit of a retracement in here, and instead of having that double top that looked like it, right, smelled like it, and was at the area that most probably will be happening, it just didn't, and is right now breaking through this previous up range scenario that we have. So another important part in investing, it is precious metals, and we've been seeing, for example, copper in here going nuts, right? We've been seeing platinum at this point right now going nuts. We have seen silver going nuts, and it was just basically in line with what we're seeing
Yep.
on stability
It was
or
about
on
time.
trust in the markets. You were saying? Sorry?
Yeah, it was about time. And there's some other factors here. I got an article up if you want to switch it over to my
Absolutely.
screen share. But another thing here, EV, there was a lot of change with the EV revolution right now going on. And so with that growth coming in, also platinum prices surging to a new high. The price jump reflects a broader trend in the market where commodities like platinum are seeing renewed interest amid geopolitical tensions and supply chain disruptions. So because you got a tightening of the availability and then renewed demand now for because of EVs, the context of electronic vehicles revolution, the surge of platinum comes as the precious metal sector is experiencing one of its strongest performance in recent years, with platinum being a key component in catalytic converter, which you said, and hydrogen fuel cells, its demand is closely tied to the growth of the green energy economy. Additionally, rising inflation and the strength of the U.S. dollar has influenced platinum's performance. But I do want to point out one final thing that they're saying in here at the bottom of this article, and that is talking about the outlook for platinum appears to be positive in the near term, but investors are being advised to remain vigilant. Which, hey, don't be scared, be prepared. We talk about that all the time here on the Piper Academy. While the current supply demand dynamics favor buyers, unexpected shifts in global economic conditions, regulatory change could impact the markets. Analysts recommend a balanced approach with a focus on both short-term opportunities and long-term strategic positioning, meaning don't go and ape in, okay? As the world continues in transition to a more sustainable energy future, platinum is likely to remain a critical player in both of the industrial and financial landscapes. And that just wraps up what OC was talking about for the uses of this. And then there's also this very big, a shortage of platinum mining going on because really has just not been very profitable. They're starting to move on it now, but we could have that initial tightness and squeeze that pops the price up due to demand versus supply. So, yeah, I think platinum's something to keep an eye on, especially with what we've seen happen with gold and silver. Platinum and palladium, by the way, in this article, they are expected both to have a nice squeeze coming up in early 2026. So.
Let's get it. And also, very, very careful because as we have been consolidating for a long time, we could be seeing a little bit of a pullback, as Piper also was mentioning. So, yeah, do you have any other news that you want to bring up?
Yeah. I just wanted to go. I got here's where the stock market is headed in 2026. This was a CNBC Pro article this morning. I thought it was pretty interesting. Just go over the highlights in here real fast on it. Stocks are in for another double-digit gain in 2026, according to Wall Street's top strategist. Wall Street is confident the bull market can continue for another year, which is not in line with what we have typically seen on when you get rate cuts within, 1% of the all-time high. That doesn't have double digits. It's normally around 4 to 6%. But then we also looked at data from the other day of when Japan raises its rates like this, or when we have, I think the other one that we were looking at, I don't remember what it was exactly, but there was something else that said within 10 months, we are in negatives across all the markets. Not in line with what the Wall Street analysts are actually saying right now. So Wall Street is confident that this could continue for another year, albeit not as strong as this one has been. And maybe that's what it is. If you look at the averages on the returns and you expand this out and look, okay, 2025 was parabolic, bring that down that same percentage, and maybe it still keeps it right above that net zero, right? So on average, strategists expected the S&P can end next year at 7,629 points, a level representing an 11.6% upside from its current levels. The target is a bit higher on a median basis, 7,650, or roughly 13% rise. Those expected gains are stronger than what strategists estimated coming into this year. That 2025 has blown away expectations. So as the year draws to a close, they're saying that we could see a three-peat, another year of a rally on the S&P. Keep in mind, not really sure if they're calculating in midterm year. Midterm years typically don't end well for the stock markets or for crypto especially. So we'll have to see if they are able to push through midterm turmoil on the markets. But as they're saying right now, this artificial intelligence move is what they're really looking at. With this, that they expect the gains from AI will continue to roll through the market in the coming years. And I don't disagree with this necessarily, strictly based on the fact that we've talked about that even if we get a valuation decrease on the P&Es, some of these are like 26 to 42 times their true valuation on these companies in the S&P and the NASDAQ. We could see, I don't think we're going to see a decrease in the demand for AI data centers. So could continue to see money to go out, and that just keeps people hungry enough that they keep biting on something that's getting a lot more fat than it is meat on the bone. So might be a little bit chewy, but if people want to keep buying it, then it's possible that we could see 2026 be an up year. And what would that mean for crypto? It's going to be the big question that we have to keep an eye on. So that's what I got there, OC. You can go back to double screen. That's all I had today for news. I just wanted to drop in and give everybody a little shout out and, Go through the chat here. I see Wick's wife in here. Lunar Beaches Crypto is in here with us. Alexandra G, the mod queen. Two Dub. Steve Hickey, what's up? How you doing? Who else we got in here? We got a lot of people. All Sets in here with us. Wayne C in here with us. Appreciate you, man. Mark Dutch, the Dutch man, he's in the house with us. We got Chad Wick 589 in here with us also. I just doxed the shit out of him. We got Bakoshido Denaro in here and a whole lot more. I appreciate 90 of you guys watching. So awesome to see the alumni and the OGs in here. But yeah, overall, OC, I think I think we're in for an interesting year. We still got 8 days left in good old 2025, and the downside levels. So keep an eye on what's going on in 2026. I think that January we do tend to see a little bit of sell off happen uh, going into the new year as people just kind of reshuffle and recover from the holidays. So don't be surprised if we see a little bit of pullback then. But according to Wall Street, they're calling for double digits in 2026. So we'll keep an eye on it, bro.
We'll see, because as you mentioned, right now Bitcoin is not in a good place, especially not on the better place that I was expecting from the Christmas rally, and having a January dump. Ooh, that might be a good, not such a great thing to look at. And yeah, I'm actually looking at your golden pocket for targets somewhere around the 93,800 ish, somewhere around there.
Looks like we're getting a rejection though, OC. Do I need to share my chart again?
No, you're good. We're seeing your chart. Oh,
Okay, okay, because I'm seeing the article. There it is. There it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm watching that here. Let me go back to it and share it. There we go. We're back. It does look like we are getting a rejection on Bitcoin now, right at that trend line. So I thought it might be able to get up there. We've pulled back below the dynamic reactor. Again, we did print a bar for overbought, way overbought here on the 4 hour to the downside. Let me go look at the multi-day. I haven't even looked at the multi-day. Holy cow, I haven't looked at the multi-day in so long. I'm enjoying this vacation. We are getting kind of low here and getting a lot of wicking going on here. This is a 15-minute. Why am I in there? It looks like I'm trying to there we go. We are getting the light. Oh, look, OC, check it out, man. RSI Prime starting to get tiny candles down here on the weekly. Could be ready for a relief rally here. We can see that we're coming up now, starting to get lighter colored candles on the MACD. Coming up here after a clipping of the True 7, overbought, uptrend. Money flow still coming downwards right now, and volume's really low, but it does look like we are building up for a little relief rally here on Bitcoin sometime in the next week or two, I would say. So very possible could get that, man.
well, hopefully. That will be fantastic to have a Christmas push. Let me bring you over to the news I have in here really quickly. I want to go over a couple of things. One of that is very interesting. It says, right here, I want to bring this one up. And the congratulations says, breaking a record 122.4 million Americans are expecting to travel this holiday season as gas price hits a 4-year low of a 2.85 gallons. Oh man, that's fantastic. Let's get it. So hopefully you guys have a fantastic road trip. So a couple of other stuff in here. What's good to say is just in 4 trillion JP Morgan is considering offering crypto trading for institutional clients. Perfect. Let's go, JP Morgan. Although remember that also JP Morgan, it is a shorting strategy. Talking about strategy, right? Michael Saylor's strategy increases the USD reserve to 2.19 million. Let's get it. It doesn't specify how has he brought up that amount of money, how he has rose that amount of money. But remember that he right now at this point, I think, is trying to protect his Bitcoin not to be sold. And well, he knows the danger of this possible spiral death. Spiral. What is it? A spiral death, right? Of depth.
The death spiral.
Death spiral. There you go. And well, he's taking actions, which tells us that this is a serious thing that we also should be taking a look at as it develops. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, nothing really bad happens, as I stated before. I do want to see Michael Saylor succeed, especially in this project. That will be some really good proof of concept. And finally, right here, working one job is no longer enough to cover living costs. The number of multiple job holders surged to 499K in October and November to record a 9.3 million. This figure has risen plus 3.9 million since the 2022 low. This is also 1.2 million below the 2008 financial crisis peak. As a percentage of total employment, multiple job holders rose to 5.8%, nearly matching a two previous high since over the last 25 years. I'm going to cut it on here and bring it up in the dual cam because you've been talking about jobs numbers recently, right before you went on vacation. Both the lack of information that we had and then the magical numbers that we had right after Christmas. So what is it going on? Does that fit in the puzzle? Like what's happening here?
So we talked about this for at least 6 months that everybody was taking on second and third jobs, and it was the household. If you looked at the household surveys, you saw that number. What you were seeing from Bureau of Labor Statistics, they were saying, "Hey, look, we got this many added jobs in the markets, and this many people are working." But really, what it was the same person taking on two or three jobs, all part time, to cover the cost of hamburger and eggs, man. It's all been just and auto insurance. It's been ridiculous, right? So everything is going up in price. So yeah, a lot of people picking up extra gig economy is what's keeping us afloat right now. If you don't know what gig economy is, it's pretty much people making ends meet through working Uber Eats and DoorDash or whatever else. So yeah, this is not news, even though it's just breaking out as news today. Here we've been talking about this for 6 months, that this is what's going on, and anybody that knew how to read into the household surveys was seeing this as clear as day for months now. So
Absolutely. Let me bring up now this part where we take a look at the liquidations because we have right now a mixed bag. Something important, 24-hour rec, 207 million, and the single liquidation happened on Hyperliquid. Bitcoin USD value at 3.25 million. Ooh, what a hit. A couple of things that I want to go over is the heat map, especially right here on the lower time frames. It's showing us that we can still reach somewhere around 91K 200. So that wouldn't be surprised. Let me bring up the price of Bitcoin in here. That wouldn't be very surprising to hit that area. That will be kind of like a testing just above the dynamic reactor, and of course testing the trend line that we have, especially right now as we're getting closer to have that flip with the ribbon. Despite we could have an early rejection, I mean, remember, this could be a 1 4 hour candle just rejecting for then have just a little bit of a higher or bigger candle to then start some trickling down or getting into the center in between the two lines of the golden pocket that we have in there. A couple of other things that I want to go over. It is this one right here. This is again the 15 minutes. And the 15 minutes usually tells me how the markets or where the market's going to be going towards to, right? And I tend to look at the opposite in here. So we have some short closings, which meant I need to refresh this because we already have a push back down. There we go. Look at how different now it looks. So we were looking at a possible growth and we had it on the 4 hour candle. Right now on that same hour candle, we are seeing that right now we're pretty center. So we will need to give it some more time, but I see that the tendency is to go lower. So long closings because those longs are getting wrecked, right? In short entries because they're late to the party. So at this point, as we see this grouping being aimed a little lower, I will be saying that somewhere in between the 30 minutes, the 50 minutes time frame, we might be seeing a little pump in here out of a support area of Bitcoin. So let's bring up all of the indicators. Remember, this might be a little hard for your eyes, so bear with me. I'm just trying to save some time to load them all at the same time. And there we go. We're going in the 15 minutes. Remember the time frame, all right? Within the 15 minutes time frame, we're getting into a high area of support where we have 1, 2, 3 soft order blocks, dynamic reactor, and one predictive range along with a smart money entry, hitting that at 88,940, which means I will actually be looking just a little bit slightly below that area where I see this other smart money entry zone at 88,621 for the 15 minutes time frame. So I'm expecting this to whiplash a little bit lower and then come back up at 89,585. So basically a little bit of a dip and then a bounce. And that also coincides with your oscillator. Look at your oscillator right now, again on the 15 minutes. The ribbon, it is almost right down there where we usually see the flip, right? We don't quite had yet a green triangle reversal, neither an oversold box, a golden oversold box, but we also have the power bar already printing red, which means we're getting there, right? We're getting closer to that area. And to finalize, I want to go over the poly markets. Poly markets, it says Fed decision in January, 50 basis points or 25 basis points. Right now, 18%, zero.
Zero
Take
basis
it to
points.
0.
No, that's what I think
I
they're
mean,
gonna get. January, I don't think we
uh
get any rate cuts. I think it's a 0 basis point move in January at this point.
right now it's pretty divided. It says 25 basis points decrease on the 18%. So maybe we can go check that out and see how that if we can bet on
I'm gonna
that
have to go
zero. That
throw
will be a
money on
pretty good
this.
option.
I'm gonna have to go throw money on this. What is this? Poly market. I'm throwing
Yes,
money
polar
on
market.
poly market. 0%. 0%. Zero
0%. Let's
basis
get it.
points.
Let me actually favorite that one. Oh, I'm not logged in. All right, I will need to log in. Will Trump release the Epstein files by 2026? And I told you guys, I thought that he's gonna be delayed, and he was delayed. Actually, I was telling you that most likely is gonna be the later day, which was what is it, 19 or something? And well, the weekend came in. And I was seeing this one coming. I think he's gonna push it as much as he can. Is both some this has to do with, I mean, uh, aside of all of the horrible things that this can unveil, all right, this is also fuel to keep attention to whatever is going on. So everybody's looking at what Trump is going to be doing, and while he has that attention, he can be bringing things up onto his narrative, off to his government, or whatever he wants to put intention on, right? So I think he's going to keep that going as much as he can. Also, Super Bowl champions, Los Angeles versus Seattle. What do you think is going to happen?
I gotta go with LA on that one, man. Gotta go with LA.
Let's go. LA actually 15%. And
Seahawks.
Maduro.
Seahawks.
Uh-huh.
Seahawks can pull it off, but if I had to choose, I'm gonna go with LA.
So I actually don't know. I actually don't know. I'm just gonna sit back, relax, get a lot of popcorn and a lot of Coca-Cola. Well, no, not Coca-Cola because I'm on diet right now. Starting yesterday, by the way. So we'll see how to go. Maybe a lot of water. And just to find out this thing, and I believe this is a little bit important. It's not such a big transcendency, but Maduro out by December 31st or January 31st. I think it's gonna be a little bit longer, and that has to do because
I
this would
I don't
be.
know. I don't know. You got what was her name? The chick down there, um,
Oh yeah.
that ran. What, what was her name? Help me out. You're
Oh
you're from
man.
you're from that region. Help me out.
Yes. Dude, she won the Nobel Prize of Peace.
Yeah, and did you hear who she dedicated it to?
No. Who?
Donald Trump.
Oh, let's go.
And then
Oh my
right
God.
afterwards, we started doing operations down there.
Yes.
I
So
don't know if you
Marina
know. I don't know if you know about
Maria.
overthrowing governments and how good the U.S. is at it, but I'm just saying, it's the timing is interesting. You might want to put
Oh,
your tinfoil hat on for that.
absolutely.
See.
But it's also true that this would have been the first Latin American war that America might be starting since, like, I don't know, the 18
The last time
somethings.
that we had the CIA go overthrow stuff in South America, yeah, not that long.
Well,
We're getting
that
ready to
was
get
the
run
CIA.
pulled
That
down. We're
was.
going to get run.
All right. Well, I just think that because this is so public, right, and outspoken. I think it's got to be done with a little more precision and I don't know, taking care of how things are. But yeah, Marina Corina
It's
Machado,
called
Machado,
tactical finesse. Tactical
tactical
finesse.
finesse. Nice. Perfect. So I believe that it's going to take a little bit longer. I mean, it's not that long. January 31st, we'll see. But I do think that he is going to be out soon. We'll see how that goes. Also, we'll see how that impacts economy. So guys, keep your eye on defense stock. I think that will be a good opportunity to start looking into it right now. So
Yep.
that's pretty much all that I got, Piper. You have anything else that you
That's all
want
I
to
got.
bring up?
That's all I got. Yes. Hi everyone, and I miss you guys, and I can't wait to get back to the full daytime show. There you go.
Let's get it. All right, guys. So thank you very much for joining. Piper, outro, it's all yours. Please help us with that.
All right, guys. So yeah, we got a little move on Bitcoin today, but we are at some resistance. We do have a lot of things happening in the markets right now. We got some data coming out this week that I do think is going to be bad. So even if we get a pump today, don't be surprised to see a pullback tomorrow through the week. Dollar cost average for the Piper plan this week. I'm actually looking closer to Friday for being the key day to pick that up. Not financial advice, obviously, but yeah, appreciate you guys all being here. We'll be back here. Well, OC will be back here tomorrow. I'll be in Dordrecht, Netherlands tomorrow, but OC will be back here tomorrow with you guys, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and the headlines. Everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until next time, guys, trade safe, use some risk management. Peace, love, profits. We're out of here.
That's the rap. Chart stack, data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done. We'll see you at the next one.
What the fuck they're doing?
Morning market report out. 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 Boom shakalaka. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?